And see how the shear goes right now. Let me just turn that warning box off again. I know a lot of times when we're in severe weather, we get a lot of information on it. It's hard to watch. But this is the area that we're watching right in here. Let's check the shear associated with that. And there again, you can see right in that area where we're talking about, coming to the northeast of Sharon out in towards the Havendale community. This is where we're seeing the rotation, and it's moving off to the east, southeast. Looks like the storms are moving at a good clip, out 30, 40 miles per hour off into the east and southeast. We'll just check the situation there. Not seeing any debris or anything yet. So again, this is a tornado warning that is radar indicated with this storm at this time. Very heavy rainfall up this way. Looks like let's check the severe weather button right now. Maybe a little bit of small hail associated with that. I'm really not seeing a whole lot of hail. Typically on our scale, when we start getting up here in the black, that's usually an indication that hail is reaching the ground. So there may be some small hail spitting out of this storm system, but primarily right now, torrential rain and the threat of a spin-up tornado in this cell. So again, we're up here in northeast Madison County. This is a tornado warning that is in effect, and this will also carry over. And I'll turn the warning box back on associated with that cell. This cell is going to move over towards the east and southeast, and you can see it comes over here. Pigstown, Lena, Good Hope, Beatrice, and here's Ludlow. You're all in this thunderstorm, the tornado warning. This is Leake County, so you got northeastern Madison County over into Leake County, and a little bit of this tornado warning does come down in here to the northern parts of Scott County. Moving off to the east, southeast at a good clip, 30 to 45 miles per hour. Tornado warning. All right, again, put it back in motion for you. Got a little bit of rotation with this cell. Again, the whole area, the whole viewing area, except for Macomb, is under a tornado watch until 1 o'clock. Looks like the next several hours are going to be quite busy, and I think as this area of thunderstorms develops with time, you can see, look at all the cells developing. This is just really in the start of the next couple of hours that are going to be very active. I think as these systems and storms grow, I think hail will also become a concern as we head through the evening. For now, look here, there's another severe thunderstorm warning just issued. These cells are coming up very quickly. It's really been amazing in this weather pattern, as bad as the weather has been at times, in between weather systems moving through, the weather's been terrific, clear, sunny, and that's how it was this evening. After the morning storms moved out, it cleared off this afternoon. There wasn't a cloud to be found. About 5:30, still clear. And here comes this next disturbance along, and boom, thunderstorms are developing rapidly. We expect these thunderstorms to be very, very active over the next couple of hours. And right now, it's the corridor stretching from, down towards Port Gibson, right through the Jackson metro area, and then off to the northeast where we have that tornado warning right now. I think it is also possible as we head through the next couple of hours and we see how these storms develop. I think it's possible if we could get a strong supercell thunderstorm off by itself on an individual cell, may even try to produce a EF2 tornado. That's not out of the question for the evening time, so we'll continue to watch that. But everybody should be on the lookout for severe storms through the balance of the evening. And also keep in mind, I was without power for about half the weekend. I'm right there with everybody else. I had big tree limbs down. I had the chainsaw out. So I feel everybody's pain, and I think, boy, over the last, last Saturday when Madison got hit, southern Madison County, and then it's just been waves of storms after waves of storms that have hit the area, and I think everybody's just kind of skittish, tired, can't believe this is just happening over and over again. So, we're going to give this a full attention tonight. You drive around the area, not only here in the metro area, but anywhere in the Channel 16 viewing area. There are trees down everywhere, big branches down everywhere, and some spots have had large hail. This morning, there was some very large hail that moved down across our southern counties. All right, let's get back up closer here to our storm in Madison County, which does have the tornado warning associated with it. And we'll just continue to see that. That's going to be dropping over into the southwest parts of Leake County very shortly. Now, Carthage is not under the tornado warning. You are under a severe thunderstorm warning with this cell. It's the part of the storm that's crossing Highway 16 right now, down near Farm Haven and just to the south of Havendale, coming into Millville. This is the part of the storm right here, right down in here, that's the most dangerous or the strongest part of the storm right now. Let's just switch right over to velocity, keep that in motion. And really we're watching that wind field develop. Now watch closely again here. Looks like we had a decent blow up right there as it was just to the west of Havendale. See that spin there, that bright green? Now it looks like the rotation may have weakened a little bit. We'll continue to watch that, but looks like a couple scans ago, maybe about 5 minutes ago, looked like it tried to produce a tornado right in there. And now you don't see quite as much rotation, but certainly you see very heavy rainfall associated with that cell. Let's just, again, the CC that we look at, this is a product that we use that's trying to differentiate between rainfall, precipitation, and something else that is in the air that would be, it could be hail, it could be debris from a tornado, and we're not seeing any kind of a dropout associated with that. Right in here, we're seeing everything pretty much uniform on the same color. So right now, in this part of the cell, that is the most dangerous right now, crossing Highway 16 near Farm Haven and Millville. Looks like primarily looking at just torrential rain associated with that right now. Well, I'll tell you, these storms really on the move very quickly to the east-southeast, so conditions could change very quickly. It still does look like there's some I'm going to stop this here now. It's been rotating. Still does look like right in this area, there is some very broad rotation. Again, that's we're getting ready to cross Highway 16 right now, out near Farm Haven and Millville. Very strong winds. Here's Ratliff Ferry down here. Highway 43, which goes up to Canton and the Deerfield subdivision, is down there. Here is the reflectivity. I don't know how Madison County does it. Some counties, like Rankin, if there's a tornado warning anywhere in the county, the sirens will sound county-wide. But I'm not sure what they do up in Madison County when they have a tornado warning. So if they're sounding down in the southern parts of Madison County, no tornado warning down there, but you do have a thunderstorm coming in there right now. Let me just turn the lightning back on. You can see all the lightning strikes associated with that. There is a severe thunderstorm warning that is coming up from Hinds County, and just to the north of there, a pretty strong thunderstorm with very heavy rainfall moving across southern Madison County. No warning right now, but certainly a very strong thunderstorm there. And look down here in northwest Rankin County, a heavy downpour thunderstorm developing out near Arrowhead Point, and you got the thunderstorm coming right across the Jackson metro area right now. So very busy. It's going to be, I think, over the next couple of hours. I was on my way in, I was talking to Isabel, and I said it looked like it's going to be pretty active over the next couple of hours, and it may have really started to develop about an hour sooner than I thought. But they are, look how just quickly, watch out here, there's no storm, and the storm develops, and just in about 5 minutes it goes severe. Thunderstorms developing rapidly out near Forest, could be a hail producer. Let's turn hail back on, and let me turn the lightning back off, because there's so much lightning out there, it obscures what we're looking at. I don't see any areas where it looks like there would be large hail hitting the ground. There's certainly areas where there could be some small hail right now. And that same area that we've been watching, where I've circled, we are starting to see some black come in here. Now this is right where the area that we've been watching. I'm going to stop that for you, put the rotation back on here. And this is where there is some broad rotation in this area. So there's torrential rain, strong wind gusts crossing Highway 16 now, coming up on Farm Haven, south of Raytown and near Millville. This is the area that we continue to watch for it to be the strongest area. There's been some broad rotation in this area, and the sheer weak at this time, but still certainly as nasty as the thunderstorms have been, and something could cycle up here very, very quickly. Again, heads up, far northeastern Madison County, coming across Highway 16 right now, Farm Haven, Millville, Raytown. You're in the area where the thunderstorm is at its strongest and most dangerous right now, and it does look like could be producing a little bit of hail, so it's not seeing any debris or anything, but right in this area, looks like it could be an area of increasing hail associated with that, and there it is. There is our hail product, also kind of confirming the same general area where there could be large hail. So with these storms, even if you're not under a warning right now, it's probably a good evening, if you can, to have your car in the garage and not sitting out in the driveway with these cells popping up and producing all this activity so quickly. Boy, I'll tell you, these storms just blowing up very, very quickly this evening. All right, let's widen the view. Let me turn the pencil off there, get a wide view, and I'll put it back in motion so you can see exactly what is transpiring right now in the Jackson metro area. Boy, it was nice up until about 6:30, 7 o'clock. Thunderstorms have developed rapidly. This cell moving across Scott County right now looks like it's about to produce some larger hail near Forest and to the north, so be on the lookout for that. Our tornado warning cell in Madison County looks like that's starting to produce some hail, and there is broad rotation up there. And over the immediate Jackson metro area, increasing heavy rain out towards Madison, Ridgeland, Deerfield, up Highway 43 just to the south of Canton, and then right across the north end of the Ross Barnett Reservoir, Highway 43 out towards Goshen Springs, very heavy rain developing. Further to the south, we are under a severe thunderstorm warning for the Jackson metro area right now. These cells are blowing up, and I think the main concern here would be isolated strong gusty winds and the development of hail with these cells. Let's stop it and just look very quickly at these storms. I'm going to throw it over to Isabel here in a second. She'll update us all the watch and warning information that we have going on, and turn the hail on right here, see what's going on, see if we can see. You know, the cell looks like it's intensifying, but not picking up any hail associated with that right now. But again, don't be surprised. We got a very heavy downpour coming right over Channel 16 right now. I can hear the big drops of rain on the roof. Not a whole lot of lightning with that. Out towards Chapel Hill in Hinds County, Adams, Chapel Hill, Dabney Crossroads, just to the southwest of Midway. That's where that cell's coming up right now. And it looks like it could be, at any time, maybe going to try to produce hail. This is a severe thunderstorm warning area from out into, from Utica through Raymond right into the Jackson metro area. And you can see the waves of cells that are going to continue to move through. These cells right now over the Jackson metro area, right there, you can see the boundary. Watch it again. There's a boundary coming up from the southeast, and that's interacting with the thunderstorms. This is going to give them a push. So I expect here over the next few minutes through the next 30 minutes, these thunderstorms to intensify just as they're coming across the Jackson metro area, moving to the northeast. So lots going on across the area. Give you the wide view of the entire viewing area. Notice once you get south, really, of Crystal Springs and Hazelhurst, there's not much going on. Looks like that may be an area which will stay quiet for a while. It's right over the Jackson metro area where things are heating up on the wide scale. There's actually a mesoscale convective vortex. I know it's a fancy name, but that's spinning away, coming up into southeast Arkansas, and it's that disturbance and boundary that's coming down into central Mississippi, and it is igniting these storms. I suspect now through about 10 or 11 o'clock, these thunderstorms will remain active before they begin to weaken. All right, let's throw it over to Isabel, get a quick update on the watches, warnings in the area that are in effect right now.
Yeah, well, this is what we are looking at here at the moment. We do have that tornado watch in effect until 1 a.m. this morning. These storms really started to fire up just a little bit after 6:30 here this evening, and we've been watching it blow up ever since then. A lot of lightning with these storms that have been progressing off towards the east at a fairly quickly pace as well. About 20 miles an hour is what these storms are moving at. Now, we do have a few severe thunderstorm warnings in effect. They are until 8:45 this evening, so about another hour left with that. That tornado warning also expires at 8:45 this evening here as well. So little bit of a closer look here into the immediate metro. Again, those storms really didn't start to fire up until a little bit after 6 o'clock, closer to 7 here at this evening. So this is what we are seeing here at the moment. Lots of heavy downpours through Madison and through parts of Rankin County as well, just east of I-55 here at the moment. Another heavy downpour, looks like it's moving along I-20 here at the moment. Looks like from Clinton into South Jackson, seeing some pretty heavy rainfall moving in at the moment here as well. And another little storm that's just south of Raymond all the way towards Crystal Springs. That eventually is going to be making its way towards the immediate metro region here as well. And we do have that severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 8:45 as well. I turned off the lightning on this one too, just because there's so much of it with these storms that have been progressing through the area, just so you can get a little bit of a closer look at where these storms exactly are in our area here. So here's another big picture look here of what we've been watching for the past few hours here. This big storm system, again, just like David was saying here, that big storm system that's moving into parts of Arkansas at the moment. We're already seeing a few severe thunderstorm watches and warnings over there, and then eventually that's really what's going to be making its way into our area later on this evening. So this is just before the system really starts to make its way here this evening. So here's another big picture of where exactly those storms are firing up over in southern parts of Arkansas. It looks like they're starting to move into northern parts of Louisiana already at the hour. So again, this is what we will be watching throughout the rest of the evening. So the main line of storms hasn't even made it into our area yet. This is just before the storms actually come in. I'm gonna throw it back to David here.
All right, yeah, boy, it is busy. That was a great look at what I was talking about, that storm system coming up out of Arkansas and the boundary that's coming into Mississippi. It does look like this evening and tonight, although there's going to be thunderstorm chances continuing through the week, this is really looking like the tail end of the strongest of the storms moving through. Again, I do expect thunderstorms in the upcoming week, but I think as far as these big rounds of severe thunderstorms and widespread thunderstorms with hail, tonight really looks like the end. Things a lot more tame as we head through the week. And I did get a message that yes, in fact, the tornado sirens were going off in Madison with that tornado warning in the northeast part of the county. So that's why sometimes when we are covering the weather, we do like to say that this does not include certain areas. And certainly if you're in Madison and Ridgeland, the tornado warning was not for you. It was in far northeastern parts of Madison over into Lee County. Again, this is the big picture, and you can see the tremendous lightning with these cells coming through. Big clap right here at the TV station. Our antenna is right here on the property, and it gets struck numerous times. But this is just a great look at this boundary that's coming in, and there's additional thunderstorms off to our west. Here are the thunderstorms. I've turned the lightning off so you can see a clear picture of what is developing. Here's our tornado warned cell, which is now crossed over Highway 16 out there near Farm Haven, and it'll be moving into southwest parts of Leake County very shortly. Possible hail producer with a severe thunderstorm warning in Forest, and a big thunderstorm crossing the Ross Barnett Reservoir area right now. That's headed out towards Castle Woods and Mill Creek, Arrowhead Point. Big thunderstorm, might get some wind gusts with that, but this primarily looks like a torrential downpour with a lot of thunder and lightning. And then we got a cell developing just to the south of Raymond, which will come across the southern parts of the city, and that eventually will be affecting areas in Brandon, down towards Cross Gates, down Highway 18, closer to where the high school is. So developing very rapidly across the area. Here's a better look at that stuff on the southern part of the metro area with the severe thunderstorm warning coming out of southwest Hinds County for those cells. And you get a clear picture. There's some heavier rain down across northern Copiah County towards Crystal Springs, but there's that boundary coming in, interacting with that. That'll give that cell some lift, get it to grow, and move off to the northeast. So very, very active expected here over the next a couple of hours. And do notice here now, upgrade to a tornado warning with that cell, which was developing out across the northern parts of Scott County. So we'll be investigating that storm as well. Again, this is basically near from Morton to forest just along and to the north of Interstate 20. So the tornado warning, if you're south of Interstate 20, not in effect, but it is a little bit further to the north there. We'll investigate that. We'll get Isabel to get a close-up, and I'll throw it to her here very shortly. Here, look at the radar picture, and you can see how active it is going to be over the next couple of hours. Let me just back up on that and show it to you again. Notice the radar forecast. Right now, it's not forecasting anything. It was off by about an hour. Boom, there it goes. It was looking to blow between 8 and 9 instead of 7 and 8 o'clock. But you can see it should quiet down pretty quickly once we head towards the midnight hour. Here is the bigger picture with that tornado watch. And again, the feature that is kicking it off is spinning up here in southeast Missouri, northeastern parts of Arkansas. And that's what's being swinging through, giving us the lift in the atmosphere. You can see we got a tornado warning out near El Dorado, Arkansas. Before I throw it over to Isabel for an update on that Scott County tornado warning, just a quick look around the area. Here's Vicksburg showing just cloudy skies right now, pretty calm. Here's our Pearl Sky Cam, which is showing some of the heavier rain that has moved through, and there's a cell off to the west. Here is the Reservoir Sky Cam, very heavy rainfall, and that's that cell we showed you moving into northwest Rankin County right now, and that will continue to move. All right, here's just a wide view. What's going on? There's the line of storms. Temperatures are muggy in the 80s. Isabel, give us an update on that storm near Forest and Morton right now.
Effect till 9 p.m. here this. A storm that we are watching closely, moving out of Scott County at the moment. So it's moving east at about 20 miles an hour at the moment. Again, this one was confirmed, so definitely something to be aware of at the moment. So that one is in effect until 9 p.m. here this evening. So we've really started to see these storms fire up right after 7 o'clock here this evening, and they've been moving off towards the east fairly quickly this evening here as well. So they're all moving about 20 miles an hour towards the east at the moment. So we do have a few other severe thunderstorm warnings in effect. A lot of those expire here at 8:45. I'm going to throw it back to David for another update.
All right, that tornado warning for Forest County. Let me get the things up here. That's going to be confirmed, and I'll show you why here in a second. Get my data up here and zoom right into that. We want to get close and right on top of that. Again, tornado warning for the Leake County, southern Leake County, and into Scott County here. This cell was coming out of Forkville a very short time ago. I turned the lightning off again because it does obscure everything. But watch it again, develop right here in the Forkville area. Stop it. We'll do some analysis of this storm. So right now, it does look like this cell will be crossing Highway 35 north of Forest, so East Hillsboro, Singleton Settlement Community. Be on the lookout for that. Let's get the velocity up there. Let's check the shear associated with that right now. I'm going to get even a little bit closer here, because, you know, Forkville is where those two highways kind of break apart right over here. We do that on bike rides sometime, and as we say, you know, take the fork in the road, go right or left, depends how far we want to go. So just a short time ago, observed here. Let's check the CC if we're seeing any kind of debris in that. Maybe a little bit of a hint and a dropout with that. Hard to tell just on the comparison, but this is, see the box has turned from red to purple. Observed tornado moving from Forkville just to the south of Clifton right now. The velocity product not really picking it up too clearly. Just trying to look and do some analysis while we're looking. Let me just circle that area right in this area. Coming out of Forkville. Keep in mind the storms have been kind of moving off to the east, southeast fairly quickly. Just double check our shear, some of our things. So we're not picking up a lot of our typical information that would say right here is where the tornado is, but let me circle it again. This is going to be the general area where there's some rotation right in there, maybe a little bit of an inflow notch to the storm right here, and out ahead of that could be some developing hail. So right down here, this is Highway 80, Highway 35. So this cell will be crossing Highway 35 shortly between East Hillsboro and the Forest community, and then head over down to the east, southeast, maybe say just along or north of Highway 80 would be the area to really be concerned about with this cell right now. So we got 2 tornado warnings right now. Let's widen out here. Let's investigate our other cell here off to the north, see what that's doing. Get a little bit closer. Just bear with me as I kind of make my way around here. Remember, when we're tracking severe weather, a lot of analysis is done just on the fly as we're looking at storms and continue to just see how they evolve. I do see a lot of wind in here, but don't really see a whole lot of rotation with this cell right now. When you don't see a whole lot of rotation or shear with those cells, it's really hard sometimes to pinpoint the exact locations. Let me just turn that off so that box doesn't come up. But just put the shear in motion, and you can see there's a little bit of shear. This is the area we were tracking a short time ago, coming right across the Farm Haven community, and that does still seem to be the area of greatest concern with rotation with this cell here. So we're now southeast of Highway 16 right now with that cell, and looks like there could be a little bit of small hail up towards Millville. Again, this is a tornado warning that is in effect, and we're up in the northeast parts of Madison County, and the cell very, very shortly will be crossing over into Leake County. Right there is the county line, and we think some rotation is right in here, although it is very difficult to see. We'll check on the hail potential with it, and it does look like this cell may have been spitting out some very small hail, if any hail at all. So this is the far northeast corner of Madison County. Tornado sirens, they may sound them again, but if you're down in Madison, Ridgeland, these type of areas, Canton, this tornado warning is not for you. This is for areas well off to the northeast of the metro area, far northeastern Madison County, and then over into Leake County and the northern parts of Scott County. It looks like a little bit on that as well. Moving quickly, you can see how it's clearing off on the back side of that. Let me put it in motion so you can clearly see how it's moving. So really heads up now for the southwestern parts of Lee County, as that'll be moving in very quickly. You're going to see a cell merger here. You're going to see the thunderstorm that has moved across the reservoir area with torrential rain and big lightning strikes. That's actually going to merge with that cell, so we're going to see a big thunderstorm merge here, and that's probably going to diminish the tornado potential with this cell as it moves into the southwest parts of Leake County. So that would be some good news there, but that said, I think there's still probably going to be the potential for some significant wind. Let me turn the lightning back off again. So much lightning with these cells, and if you're near these cells right now, you're hearing the window rattling thunder associated with that. Yeah, there's a big pocket of wind that's developing in the extreme the extreme northeast corner of Madison County that's going to be moving over towards Bertrice into southwest Leake County here, and that's going to continue to move off towards Lena. So these areas, you are under a tornado warning, but right now what I'm seeing is some very strong winds associated with that. Let's again go further out and really seeing a wind field develop here on this cell. And let me get closer here. There is a lot going on. I see it, but I want to get closer so I can show it to you. With this cell here, watch it again. It looks like there's a spin up there just near Forkville. Watch the reds and greens right there. I'll put my finger and watch it again. There. So that's when we may have had, when we said we have an observed tornado right there, spin up. And now that rotation has disappeared and I see a wind field. Now let me check let's circle that area right here, right in this area. Now let's check the CC, which is our correlation coefficient. Do we see anything? You know, there's a big dropout feature there. Obviously that's not all debris. But right in this area, it looks like there was a little bit of a spin up, maybe a little bit of something there. So that's why the tornado warning went from just a regular tornado warning to one that is observed. Now that cell has moved along significantly past that. Stop it. And you can see the cell has really the part that has all the wind in it is just coming up on Highway 35 right in this area. And let me turn the velocity back on, and there's where the strong winds are associated with that. If there's going to be any little bit of hail in there, that would be potential as well associated with that. Let me touch down on the hail. If there's, I'm just not seeing any indications of large hail. We've had several days where the hail has been to the size of baseballs and tennis balls, ridiculous size for the month of June here in the Deep South. Really ridiculous, quite honestly. We've had one up in Noxubee County, which almost tied the state record for the size of hail. So that's how crazy that has been. So there's the shear, and I'm not really seeing a whole lot of shear associated with that now. And as I said, it did look like it was producing mostly gusty winds. And there was the shear again. Watch it at that same area that we saw the quick blow up. There it was. See the red on the shear? I think that's when we had our spin up coming. That's Highway 13. So just south of Forkville on Highway 13, maybe a quick spin up there. And then it went away and is now moving across the county. We don't even see any shear associated with that, but it looks like there's a continuation of some strong winds. So we'll see if that storm cycles back up. But right now, I don't think it's producing a tornado. It's producing wind. Did look like it produced a tornado a short time ago, but right now it does not look like it is producing a tornado. Again, expecting cell mergers with all these thunderstorms right now. And if that occurs, that lessens the tornado potential. And since the storms are moving so quickly, I don't think there's much of a flash flood threat. Sure, we've had a lot of rain and downpours associated with these cells, but certainly does look like they're moving quick enough that it's not going to be any potential. Now, I'm going to just stop this, and I'm away from my computer just trying to read this here. You can see, look, is that a new it looks like a new tornado warning may have been issued out ahead of that, and it's not observed, which is what we were just talking about. Let me just watch it again and see what pops up with that. Yeah, this tornado box has been upgraded, or updated, I should say, and it no longer includes observed. So as I was just saying, I don't think this storm is producing a tornado right now, but it still is a storm that needs to continue to be watched. So areas right along Highway 35 into the east continue to monitor this storm. A tornado warning does continue with that, but I don't think it's producing a tornado at this time. Let's go up here into Madison County again and see what this storm is doing. This is really just about out of Madison County right now, and this is the area that we're looking at. I do see some broad rotation, but I don't see any areas that would indicate that there is a tornado right now. Put this in motion. This is a big wind field, and it's already coming up on Highway 25 from Ludlow, Burtress, Pigtown, Drysdale. That's Highway 25 right there, and you got a nice wind field crossing there, so some very, very strong winds. Let me just stop that. We'll do a quick pixel query on that and see what kind of general winds. So it looks like maybe some winds in the 35 to 50 mile per hour range gusting up there. So some pretty significant winds associated with that cell right there. Not seeing any areas of rotation. Tornado warning does continue. This cell is moving out of Madison County now, and you can see how it's just nicking the tornado warning, the northern parts there of Scott County, and crossing the far southwest corner of Leake County. To me, I see strong gusty winds, torrential rain, thunder and lightning and all that. I don't see any rotation right now. Let's go back and check our shear. It's a little bit in there, but nothing really significant associated with that. So continue to monitor this storm, no doubt about that, but I don't think that is producing a tornado at this time, which is good news there. All right, let's go wide and let's show how quickly these storms have developed and are moving across the metro area. Let me just turn the warnings off, turn them back on. Sometimes we just have boxes pop up and they're a distraction. So 2 tornado warnings right now. The cell is out of northeast Madison County. It's moving across the southwest parts of Leake County. It's passing the strongest part, passing south of Carthage. You're getting a nasty thunderstorm in Carthage. But along Highway 25 in southwest Carthage, we're picking up some 30 to 55 mile per hour winds on radar. The storm, which looked like it produced a very quick tornado near Forkville in Scott County there, is moving off to the east, and right now it does not look like it's producing a tornado either. So that's good news there. Now, this cell continues to make its way across Hinds County. We have a severe thunderstorm with that, and I am expecting this to develop a little bit. Let me turn the lightning off again here so I can take a look at it. And let's just take a look at it, the hail, since that's coming into the Jackson area right now. Just make sure it's not going crazy. Now, if there's any hail, it's not reaching the ground, and it would be small at this time. Severe thunderstorm warning for the Jackson metro area. That does continue, although these cells not showing any kind of significant intensification, at least not now. And here's another storm coming into northwestern parts of Copiah County. This will enter southwest Hinds County very shortly, so we'll keep an eye on that because that's where all these storms have come through. So again, a quick blow up of storms here through the course of the evening. And not only did we have rapid development and a quick severe thunderstorm warning, we've had tornado warnings. All right, let's go over to Isabel, get a quick update from her, and I'll be right back. Check some of the data off air.
Yeah, so this tornado watch is still in effect until 1 a.m. It doesn't look like that's going to be canceled because we're still watching some storms rolling in from Arkansas here. So this is what we are seeing at the moment. We have a few severe thunderstorm warnings in effect. They expire at 8:45 if they are not extended. These storms are moving off towards the east as well. We do have a few tornado warnings in effect at the moment, but these storms out into Arkansas, this is what we are watching. That's going to be making its way into our area here by later parts of this evening. So here's a little bit of a closer look into the immediate metro area. Turn off the lightning just because we've been saying all night there's just so much lightning with these storms that have been moving through the area all night long. So just so you can get a little bit of a closer look of exactly where we are seeing these really heavy downpours. Looks like heavy downpours moving through just east of the immediate Jackson area at the moment, just north of I-20 there, through parts of Brandon and a little bit southern parts of Flowood there. Looks like we're seeing some pretty heavy rain from Raymond all the way into Terry along I-55 there, seeing some pretty heavy rainfall and a lot of the heaviest of the rain. And really the tornado warnings are really up into leaving Madison County at the moment and also leaving parts of Scott County. So those still are in effect for another few minutes up until about 9 p.m. here this evening. So let's take another look of the bigger picture of what we are seeing. This storm system that we've been watching here for the past few days, it's been causing us a lot of severe weather here for quite some time. A really unusual pattern that we wouldn't see typically for this time of year. This is normally what we would see in primetime spring. Usually about March or April is when we would see something like this really start to progress, but we're seeing it here in June. It's been producing some crazy weather the past few days, some crazy sized hail, and we've been in some sort of severe storm watch for the past few days here. So this is what we're watching. Again, a lot of these storms that we've already been seeing that started up right around the 7 o'clock hour, this is all ahead of what we've been really watching that's still making its way over into parts of Arkansas. So you're seeing still a lot of thunderstorm activity really start to fire up in southern parts of Arkansas and northern parts of Louisiana. Eventually, that's going to be making its way into our area. That's the line of storms that we've been keeping an eye on for the past few days that we've been expecting to move into our area here. So I'm going to throw things back to David here now for a new update.
All right, yep, those tornado warnings do continue, and I don't think, especially this one in the northern parts of Scott County is producing a tornado right now. Did around Forkville, a lot of wind down there, and the cell is now out of Madison County, so the tornado warning is no longer in effect for Madison County. That cell coming across extreme southwest parts of Leake County. It'll be out of Leake County very, very shortly. Let's turn the velocity back on here and just continue to watch the wind field. We're seeing a storm merger here, and I do want to just go back up a little bit further to the north. This cell coming out of Madison County is probably the stronger of the two. Out near Ludlow, heads up for you. I think that nasty part of the cell crossing Highway 25 right to the north of Ludlow there, up towards Bertice there. Let's check the shear associated with that. And there is increasing shear. And when I look at the reflectivity right in this area, this is where we've had a cell merger. Let me just get a little bit wider and put this back into motion. And that may be giving it a little bit of an impetus for a little bit of an uptick. There's the cell dropping southward, and watch again how the cell comes up out of Rankin County to the south of it. So right in this area here, that is certainly the area for some kind of potential development of some significant wind and possibly a tornado associated with that. And I think that's why the shear has increased in that area with that. So let me just turn those warnings off again. All those boxes get to be a distraction. Watch it again here. The cell dropping down out of the northwest to the southeast, and that cell's coming up out of the west and southwest more in our conventional direction, and they merge right here. So that has just taken place. So that cell merger just giving the southwest corner of that storm system just a little bit of a push to maybe strengthen a little bit in that area. So I think that's why we've seen the shear increase in that part of the cell right now. So right here, that's the area that I just circled. Get a little bit of shear, maybe enough, a little bit of increase in wind, maybe a quick little spin up in this area, do a quick touch on these winds here. See, there's a picking up on radar indicated at least 50 miles per hour. Check our severe weather button, not really picking up anything over 60 miles per hour, but are picking up a little bit of maybe small hail. Did have one report back in Hinds County of a little bit of hail as well, peas, that was it. And really haven't seen any indication in watching any of these storms through the course of the evening of anything larger than peas at this time. Now, what is certainly possible as we continue to watch this cell. Here's a new tornado warning coming up. Here's that southern end of that for the northern parts of Rankin County. So tornado warning sirens going off in Rankin County right now. This does not include Brandon or the reservoir area. We'll get closer here. I'll show you exactly. This looks like it's going to start at about Highway 471 out there in Rankin County, right there. Yeah, here's Fannin and the Langford area. So there's Highway 471. Got a little something spinning up right here now in the northern parts of Rankin County. Look at this right here, spinning up. Just a little bit of a circulation right in there. So this is just to the northeast of Langford and just on the east side of Highway 471. So this will be moving out into the county now. To the northeast of there. So keep in mind, tornado sirens may be going off at Castle Woods and Mill Creek, but you're not included in the tornado warning associated with this quick spin up. And that's what we've seen here with these cells this evening, just quick spin ups. Let's get a little bit of a wider view and put this into motion. See how that cell comes up very quickly here. We're just on the southwest side of that big thunderstorm complex off to the northeast. And this thunderstorm now coming into western parts of Rankin County, coming up through Flowood a short time ago, crossed the airport a short time ago. Looks like it's moving right across Dogwood right now. And so say from about Cross Gates up to Castle Woods, big downpour coming your way. Let me turn the lightning on associated with that. So big thunderstorm here in northern Rankin County, tremendous thunder and lightning. Got another cell following it coming up into western Rankin County. And we still have this cell that's still looking pretty strong. And it's this cell that's moving into northwest Rankin County right now that produced some small hail. Again, these are all interacting. You'll watch it again. A boundary is coming up from the southeast and it's interacting with the thunderstorms, giving them growth, and they're just with the heat, humidity, and the strong winds that we have in the upper atmosphere, just giving it enough push that they're producing severe winds. And tonight we have a situation where we're getting some rotation in these cells. So let's go back here to Rankin County right now. This is another quick spin up. a tornado warning in effect for northern Rankin County, and this also, this tornado warning also goes over into Scott County, just about the same area that had the tornado warning. Turn the velocity on, and we're very close to the radar, so sometimes features can get hidden a little bit, but we're definitely seeing some rotation associated with that cell right there. So that has crossed Highway 471. And there you can see, just for reference, Northwest Rankin High School is right there to the northwest of Langford, and it's right in this area where we have this quick spin-up rotation. And that's why we have the tornado warning for Rankin County. Again, basically moving east or just perhaps south of due east. Here's our severe weather button. Looks like perhaps maybe some small hail in there, but look at all that shear that we continue to monitor in this area of Rankin County associated with that cell. Down here's Pelahatchie. This is Highway 43, and then you go down further to the south, you're talking about Shiloh Road, but this is all to the north of there. So if you're out in Rankin County, areas of concern would be in the far eastern part of the county. Now, it is moving into a fairly rural area, but over towards Pelahatchie, say from Langford out over to Pelahatchie, this is where the greatest concern is with this storm system that is moving across that part of Rankin County right now. Isabel, what is the speed on these cells that are currently moving? Is it still about 30, 35? What's the analysis on that?
Some of them say 20. This
particular storm, what is the speed of this storm here in Rankin County? That's what we're trying to just get a little fix on here.
That one is moving east at 50 miles an hour.
So 50 miles per hour. Yeah, they've been moving very, very quickly across Rankin County. This will be moving very fast across Rankin County. It'll be out towards Pelahatchie fairly quickly. Could do a quick track on that, but I'll tell you, I'm probably too close. Let me not do a track here. Let me just turn that off. Let me widen the view a little bit, because at moving that speed, I probably can't cover it all. So we got this rotation right about here. See, I don't even think I can't even get it. I'll just estimate, and this is just going to be a quick estimate for you. You can see here we got Forkville again out there, and Clarkburg, which is out here, still about 20 minutes away. So you're probably looking at about 10 to 15 minutes for this cell to come out towards Pelahatchie. So Morton's still way over here. You can watch this cell, but it certainly is going to come your way within the next 30 minutes. A tornado warning on this cell with a little bit of rotation continuing. You can see the feature right in there. And I'll get a little bit closer again, move over there so you can see where we're at. Just a little bit of rotation. Down here's Pelahatchie, and this is our rotation area associated with this cell right now. And we've had some significant shear out in this part of Rankin County as well, and we do continue to see shear associated with that cell. So again, tornado warning continues for Rankin County. That cell moving across the county and moving through really a fairly rural part of the county, and will pass very close to Pelahatchie in the next 10 to 15 minutes. So be prepared for that storm over that way. Pelahatchie, 10 to 15 minutes. That's what we're estimating over your way right now. Let me turn the reflectivity back up. And of course, with the fast movement of that, and keep in mind, you got this other storm coming across Crossgates and Bridlewood now, and Dogwood and Laurelwood. That storm moving very quickly. And as we said, they're just zipping along at 40 to 50 miles per hour. Look at those cells just blow up, and it's kind of like wave after wave of storm. All right. Now we know we got 10 to 15 minutes for Pelahatchie. We got several storms currently in progress, so let's stop this and give everybody an update of what's going on here in Scott County. You have actually two tornado warnings. The first cell is now moving well out into the eastern parts of the county. It's moved to the northeast of Forest. And at least that last check, we weren't seeing any rotation, and there wasn't a whole lot of shear here, and there still isn't. So it still does not appear that this is producing a tornado. There's still very heavy rainfall and gusty winds in this part of the storm. Again, we're in northern parts, or the northeastern parts of Scott County. Here is Forest. Here is Morton for your reference. Back here in Forkville, we had a spin up a short time ago. We saw a couplet, but shortly after we saw the couplet and it has approached Highway 35, that disappeared. And it looks like we have very heavy rainfall, maybe some small hail in there, and some gusty winds, but it does not look like we're picking up any rotation right now. And then further to the north, remember we had this cell coming out of northeastern parts of Madison County, and that is now crossing southwest Leake County to the southwest of Carthage out towards Lena, right along Highway 25. And what we've had here is a cell merger. And again, the threat of a tornado has diminished greatly with that cell. This is also an area where we think there's going to be some gusty winds. There is a little bit of broad rotation in there. Let me stop it and get closer so we can do a good storm analysis right on that cell, because you can see the red and the green close to each other right now, and the tornado warning does continue. So let's just circle that area for reference, so when I change to different items, we can keep track of that. So the shear, look at that, look how that has picked up. So had that cell merger, so maybe with the two coming into each other, still getting a little bit of rotation, would expect the tornado potential with this cell to come down significantly as those cells have merged. But, you know, heads up here now, in the southwestern parts of Leake County, tornado warning does continue, and that goes until 8:45. There you see it. This is the first tornado warning for that part of the county, and that is dropping off, and it'll be moving into the, down here into the northern parts, maybe getting past close to Midway, and out here is Walnut Grove. So keep a very close eye on the storm in this area as well. Let me get a little bit wider just so you can see the areas we were talking about. Turn the tornado warning back on. So this cell here is dropping, you know, a little south of Dewey, so out towards Midway and Walnut Grove. That's where this cell is coming. Now, this is the cell which was impacting northeastern Madison County, coming across southwest parts of Leake County right now, and just seeing still some broad rotation in that cell, kind of out in that area right there. And then when you put the rain on there, you can see this is the most intense part. You can see the higher reflectivities with the purple and all that, and this is where the shear has come up. The cells have just merged, so what I would expect here over the next few minutes anyway is for this shear to kind of settle down. They had two features intersect, give it a little bit of a oomph push, get some rotation in there, and then we should begin to see that come down. Very, very active here all of a sudden through the course of the evening. Multiple weather warnings for the area down across northern parts of Rankin County. This looks like this is going to be a confirmed tornado associated with this now as well. As we said, we were seeing some very good rotation with that, and there it is. It does continue. That looks very significant. When I say significant, I don't necessarily mean that it would be a strong tornado associated with this, but certainly very significant rotation right in that area right there. Again, here is Langford. This is Highway 471 for your reference. If tornado sirens are going off in areas like Castle Woods or Crossgates, no, this cell is out in the eastern parts of Rankin County, and it's headed down towards Pelahatchie. Again, remember, the movement was estimated about 50. It looks like it might be a little slower than that, just watching the radar updates. And oh, look at this. This is really coming up now. We've got some really significant shear in this cell. So this cell right here and out ahead of that, take this one seriously over towards Pelahatchie. Looks like this could produce a tornado, if not already doing so, and it has the observed tag on it. So let's just check let me just circle this again for reference so we can keep up. So the strongest cell right now is in the northern parts of Rankin County, and it is headed over towards Pelahatchie at this time, and we are seeing a little bit of dropout associated with that. And that would make sense if it is producing a tornado here. And we have these strong upper level winds, which are coming out of the west, northwest kind of. We would see the debris on the east side of that. So confirmed or an observed tornado associated with this cell right now and headed over towards Pelahatchie. It's kind of sliding off there. You know, it's moving quicker and has slowed down now. Isabel was just saying she thought it was about 20 or 30 miles per hour associated with that. So very significant. Now the shear still significant. We don't see the extreme in there, but let's widen our view, put it in motion so you can see how that cell is going to come up. And you can see Brandon down here, the reservoir area, Castle Woods and Cross Gates. So it's already past there. And there you can just see the development. Here's Rankin. You got Gouldy-Shiloh Road down there, and it's going to be passing just to the north of Gouldy and then out towards Pelahatchie. So heads up, Pelahatchie, take this one seriously. It looks like a tornado headed out your way, and we were saying about 10, 15 minutes. Now it's probably down to about 5 or 10 minutes as that's making its way across Rankin County right now. Rapid development, and it's right over in this area that I've kind of highlighted where this cell will be headed. Get the reflectivity back up for you. This cell has come up very, very quickly. And what will be interesting to watch on this, with this cell here, another cell merger is going to occur. The cell on the back side of that storm is already catching up with it. This is the cell which moved across Jackson downtown a short time ago, so that's catching up to it. And again, you're getting this little interaction, just like we did up there in the southwest parts of Elite County. Gives it a little bit of an oomph and a push and gives it that extra little bit of shear that you get that circulation in there. So right here, Brandon, and this is Highway 80, so this is all north of Highway 80, and we'll stay north of Highway 80 until at least it gets to Pelahatchie. So it's areas from Langford, between Langford and Pelahatchie. Draw that straight line. I'll get a little bit closer here so we can get those. Here's Langford over here. This is Highway 471. This is Highway 43. And this is a very rural area, but there are farms and there are homes out in this area. That's why we're not seeing a lot of communities pop up here. But again, if you're between Langford and Pelahatchie, this is where this storm is right now. And we see certainly rotation on that with that cell. So rotation, and it's kind of on the southern part of our box, right in this area. This is where we're seeing the rotation right now. You can see this is Highway 80. This is the yellow line. So again, just to the north of Highway 80, and it's only a couple minutes outside of Pelahatchie right now. We've started tracking it, saying 10 to 15, 5 to 10. It's now less than 5 minutes for this circulation to be coming into Pelahatchie. A lot of pine trees out in this part of Rankin County. And one thing to consider, a lot of trees are not in good shape after these series of storms and wind events that have moved across our area. There may be branches that have been, weakened, and a storm like this will make it come down. We've had a lot of rain. And with that rain, the soils are very soggy. We've seen a lot of uprooted trees. Even without a tornado, and you get some strong winds in here, you get some uprooted trees. And that seems to be a pretty significant concern with these storms. And just touching down on some wind speeds for you here. What I'm looking at here, let me just take that off and draw again. I'm just seeing a little feature that really almost looks like a comma right there. So you got your thunderstorm spinning, and you got this push of wind now. Is it transitioning from a tornado to a strong push of wind? You just saw it estimating those winds perhaps getting as high as 60 miles per hour. So there certainly could be a tornado in here, and there's certainly strong winds associated with that cell. And notice how our shear kind of fits what I just drew with that storm. Little feature spinning right here, and then on around that, kind of like a comma, you get all that lift into the storm. And that would be like a counterclockwise flow, just like that, just like an area of a little low pressure in there, which could be a little bit of a spin-up tornado and certainly a wind producer associated with that. So that's what we're looking at coming into Pelahatchie. Now, right on the back side of that, it looks like we have an increasing hail threat. Boy, do we have a lot going on right now. I can remember times when we've had numerous tornadoes on the ground, but that was like March or April, not the middle of June. Looks like increasing hail threat here, and I'm going to get a little bit closer. Let me zoom in. Associated with that cell here, and again, we're east of Brandon. This is the Rankin community. Let me turn on hail, and looks like right in this area on the edge, hail could be increasing, at least from what I'm seeing. It looks like this cell is on the uptick, increasing, and we'll put it in motion here. It's already east of the East Haven subdivision on the east side of Brandon. And that's the cell which went across Jackson and was just starting to intensify. Let me turn the lightning back on. And there's a good bit of thunder and lightning associated with these cells right now. So this is really going to follow just behind, and I think it's going to catch up to our cell which is producing a tornado near Pelahatchie right now. So you have two cells interacting with each other very quickly. Let's update that Pelahatchie storm right now. So let me just draw that on here. Looks like our feature is right in here. Strong winds coming into Pelahatchie. Let's go back over to shear. Still seeing the shear with that, and then you turn the reflectivity. So this is this cell on the back southwest corner of it producing some rotation, and infringing on that is this thunderstorm coming in from the southwest. So will it give it a build-up push, or will it tear it down? We'll see that in the next couple minutes, because this storm is moving quicker than the storm that's coming into Pelahatchie right now. But certainly a tornado possible right now coming through Pelahatchie, getting ready to cross Highway 43 over into Rankin County, and then eventually now this will be making its way over into Scott County. And this cell is a little bit further to the south than the other cell we were tracking across the southwest parts of Leake County into the northern parts of Scott County. So let's go wide again, just give you an updated here. The tornado warnings continue to be updated. We have a new tornado warning with that cell, which was up in Carthage, and that has been pushed a little bit further over across the rest of southern parts of Leake County right now. Again, the strongest part of the cell is just to the south of Carthage and Highway 25 out there. Let's turn the lightning off again because it's very difficult to look at, and I'll stop it. So this is our new tornado warning down here in the southern parts of Leake County and northern parts of Scott County. Those two cells came together, produced looked like a quick tornado out towards Forkville, and now there's a lot of wind associated with that, and there's certainly the possibility that this is a type of thunderstorm warning that says could produce a tornado at any time. It's not observed, and we'll look at the shear associated with that cell. So the shear, very weak associated with that cell up there. All right, let's get back down here now. We got this other cell that has moved right across the heart of north central Rankin County, and it's coming into Pelahatchie right now. Same type feature that we have been watching with this little bit of a spin on it. Cell with a circulation and the spin up like that. Again, for Rankin County, this is the only part of the county we're concerned about for a tornado with this cell. If the sirens are going off anywhere else, it's not for your area. but this has really been an interesting cell to watch evolve as it has been rotating with a little bit of a comma head. Put it in motion again. I'll just keep that where it is right now. And notice again here how it's not coming up out of the southwest, but it's moving to the east and maybe just a little bit of south of east. So there's the spin up just east of Highway 471 coming out across Langford and now moving across Pelahatchie. And the shear has been pretty impressive with that little bit of a circulation. Put it in motion, you can see how that shear has just moved right along with that area. We'll check our correlation coefficient. Again, we're looking for a little bit of debris, and let me just stop that. It's been kind of difficult to see some things in here. Maybe a little bit of a dropout feature right there, so there could be a little bit of debris in that area. This would probably be pine trees and everything, since this is such a rural area. All right, here's what's going on right now. I need a minute to recap and reset, so let's take it to Isabel. She'll give us a quick just a recap of what's going on in the metro area, and I'll be right back on.
Yeah, so we're taking a look outside our county line sky cam at the moment. It's dry, we're not seeing any rainfall, but you can see lightning out in the distance from this camera. You can also see it from our reservoir camera here as well. Here's another look. We're getting a little bit of a lightning show out in the distance there. We're not seeing any heavy rain over our reservoir sky cam at the moment, but you can really see those winds and you can see that lightning out in the distance. So there are still storms here in the area. Let's take a look at the radar at the moment. We do still have that tornado watch in effect until 1 a.m. here. So here's a look at what we've been seeing here for the past few hours. A lot of lightning. These storms really started to blow up right around 7 o'clock this evening, and it has been nonstop ever since then. So we do still have a few severe thunderstorms in place at the moment, as well as a few tornado warnings in place at the moment as well. But these storms are the ones that are out ahead of the main line that we've been tracking here for the past few days. They're still over off into parts of Arkansas and northern parts of Louisiana. So they're still about 80 miles away from crossing over the Mississippi River at the moment. So they're still a little bit of a ways away, but they will be here in just a short amount of time. So we'll be watching them as well as the storms that we do still have ongoing at the moment. Let's take another little bit of a closer look here into the immediate metro area. We saw a very heavy line of storms that moved through. So here we are with that current tornado warning that is in effect until 9:15 here this evening. The severe thunderstorm warning here for Hinds and Rankin County. This expires here shortly as well, but we're really starting to see some pretty heavy rainfall from Richland all the way down into Florence here just east of I-55. Again, that tornado warning just into eastern parts of Rankin County at the moment. It looks like we're seeing a little bit of some heavy rainfall up into Madison County, just north of the reservoir there, east of Canton at the moment. So we have all kinds of activity going on at the moment. Definitely something we are watching closely as these really start to progress through the area here. So just something to keep an eye on. This is the bigger picture of the big storm system that we've been watching here. So again, that main line of storms still off into parts of Arkansas and Louisiana. So we'll be watching them as they slowly inch their way over into our area here. I'm gonna throw it back to David here for a new update on what we can
I'll tell you what's interesting on this situation in Rankin County. If you looked at radar like this, and you just wouldn't think that we had a circulation in there, but indeed we do. And it's moved just past Pelahatchie now, and I think we're probably not on the observed part of it anymore. I think it's more of a probably radar indicated type situation, because we don't really see the feature that we did, but it's near Pelahatchie, and it's going to be moving over into the western parts of Scott County very shortly. So I'd say areas from Morton to Cracker Station, be on the lookout for some nasty weather. Of course, we got a big thunderstorm over there, and I'll turn the lightning back on associated with that cell right now. You can see that there's a big thunderstorm and torrential rain and heavy downpour associated with that. But the strongest part of the cell is just passing Pelahatchie, come in south of Clarkburg, and as I said, south of Morton down towards Cracker Station. That's an area. JV, could you just switch over to Storm Shield 16 3D for a second, because this is just a interesting feature, and it's not something that we see very often. You can see this little feature and use your imagination and look at it just spinning along. This is why we have the tornado warning, and we had some very strong indications of something may have briefly touched down on the ground just east of Highway 471 and the Langford community, but that is clearly, and we're looking at storm relative velocity, so this product actually takes into account the speed not only of the winds but of the motion of the storm, and it's moving fairly quickly, and you can see how tightly wound up it is, and now it's getting a little bit more broad. Keep in mind that it has merged with a thunderstorm that has come in from the southwest, so maybe it's going to zap it and it's just going to become an area of strong winds. So, when we cover severe weather, I try to do my best and, analyzing the storm system, just telling you what's going on. When we think we see that, yes, this is a tornado. Well, we're at a point now where, there's a tornado warning in effect, but I don't think there may be a tornado on the ground. But there's certainly still, some strong winds that have moved across Pelahatchie. But notice how the feature begins to expand or get larger as it's coming in from the west, northwest. It's just a tight little feature, but now it's not as distinct. It's a little bit more diffuse. So let's hope that's weakening as it heads out into, it's getting ready to cross out of Rankin County and into Scott County very shortly. So areas from Morton, Cracker Station, Pulaski, this is where the wind is. Also, if it certainly is in fact coming down and it's not going to be as wound up as it has been, we may actually see more of an eastward turn. So you may get more wind up towards Morton, where a short time ago, it looked like that wind may have passed to the south. So that might be some good news on there associated with that cell. Notice we just have all these tornado boxes just popping up, tornado warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings. It has gotten wild fast. We were thinking 8 to 9, but they really blew up 7 to 8 very quickly. All right, let's go back over.